Alrighty. This is the rostering or availability management program that I developed for BNE. It just takes a whole lot of processes and automates them. So all you need to do is operate within this little box. And what used to take a few hours to do will take a few minutes because you're only operating this and everything else gets done for you. I'm not sure exactly how you operate with how you do your rostering. But what happened in BNE was that a request for availability would get emailed to all the employees, and they would then send through their availabilities via email, but in all different formats, whether that was verbally or through little chats, just many different forms which then had to be interpreted and then manually put into or collated into a table to be understood. And then from there, you'd have to play around and mix match to hopefully try and get the best fit that accommodates for everyone and all of their requests. But that's all a very time consuming process. And then once you finally collated everything, then you try and fit it in, make sure everyone has the right hours. And that whole process is so prone to human error as well. And I'm sure that you would have experienced that you would have to write every individual person's name in, unless you copy and paste from previous rosters, but you still have to edit each individual person as required, which is just time consuming within itself. So yeah, what I did is I just took the whole process and made the system work for us. So what happens is if we come here, everyone has a Google Sheets page, and you can just send this table to say Gordy. We've made a table for Gordy. It's named for him, and you can send that via a link, and then he just presses that link, boom, he's got this table, and from this table he can choose his availability for available or not available, and then that automatically gets updated down here. So as you can see that Gordy's not available, we come back to the Google Sheets, and he can operate this on his phone, on his computer, on his tablet, anything with internet really. And there's a Google Sheets app, so that just makes life very easy if you download the app. But if we say available there, you can see that now it shows that he's available for an early, because back here we said we're available for an early. Now you can be anywhere in the world, anywhere with the internet. If you have your link, you have your table, you can do your roster, and that automatically updates everything here. So that mitigates the whole process of sending an email asking for or requesting for availability, and everyone sending different forms of availability, and you having to collate and manage that. That just bypasses all of that. They do that themselves, and you automatically see it here in a very easy and quick to understand chart, just like a quick heads up display. And then from here we say, oh, wonderful, Gordy's available for an early. And then from there, hey, we can select him for an early. Automatically goes to the little preview so we can see what our master roster will look like. And that's already updated the master roster there for us too. So we can do that for all of the employees, and all that we're operating is just here. And that does all of the rest of the calculations for us. Now I've tailored this for BNE's needs. I can tailor that for anyone's needs. You can see here at the bottom there's an indication of daily requirements. The standard number of shifts to fulfill a day is 3. So there's 3 people running 3 shifts. So that means it's in the green. If it's red and 0, obviously that's bad. 2, not sufficient. Orange, less efficient. But green is good. If you go over, so say I give a 4th shift here, it also goes back to red. And we can just hit delete. And it goes back to 3. And that just means that if we accidentally click one thing, it shows us at the bottom. So if all of these are in green, and each of the columns have an early, a late, and an AIN that day, then we're all covered. Now, if there's no one additionally available here, for example, and we can't get that extra employee for an AIN shift or any other type of shift that's required, that's when we know that day we need to call for help. We need someone to come in, or we need to ask the hospital orderlies, for example, to help out if they can. So yeah, very quick, easy to understand system. I find that the colors really help to understand things very quickly, as opposed to everything just being black and white. I find that attention to detail can get lost in that. And of course, month to month, the dates are going to change, but the days are not going to change depending on when you start your roster. We start our roster Mondays to Sundays, and we do them fortnightly. Again, I can change that to whatever needs are required. But typically Monday to Sunday, first fortnight, second fortnight. Now, when the month changes, let's say we're in June, so we make this one over here July, and then we come down, look at July starting date. So the Monday of July, well, July starts on the Friday. So if we go back down, get rid of that one, and then we come here, I'll just delete this one, otherwise Excel is just silly with if it's too many of the same numbers. So make that a 1, make that a 2. Again, silly with if there's many of the same numbers. Make that a 2. And we drag this across till July the 24th, and then we see here that June finishes the 30th. So we'll just delete these, make that 30, and make that 29. And we select both of them because then it uses it as a trend, drag it back. So there we have June till the 30th of June, and then July starts on the 1st, brings it across. And you would have noticed that as I did that, it updated the dates for all of the other ones as well. So as I said, you're only operating this one. You don't have to operate anything else. And then you just change that each month. So a nice little easy thing. And that also changes that for the master roster. So you'll see here it started Friday the 1st, onwards to the 24th. And you'll notice in the top left-hand corner, it also says July. So everything that you do here in the roster calculator ends up on the master roster, which is the end product essentially. That's really what you want. Now I can make lots of small ones of this as well. Maybe you can just scroll down, put them underneath. If you wanted this roster just for each individual person, if you didn't want them to see everyone else's availability. So for Gordy, for example, Gordy will receive these, but he'll only see his little squares. So he just knows his availability. I can do that as well if necessary. But if you look at that July there, for example, if we turn that back to June, let's write June in there. It now says June up the top. So yeah, just a nifty little tool, just to make life a little bit easier and make the system work for you. And this little box just here in the right hand corner, some things are just much easier done with notes, as opposed to trying to find some sort of elaborate equation to make things work. So simple thing for myself, for example, I prefer to work just 1 day per weekend on weekends. So although on weekends I might be available every day, I'd only prefer to work 1 day. So am I working, let's see, the second, it's Sundays, Marcel, I'm working on an AIN shift on Sunday, but I'm not, see, perfect example. There I have 2 shifts. So according to the notes, I prefer just to work 1, so we'd have to change either one of those ones. So let's change my shift on Saturday the 16th. So we see here Saturday the 16th, Marcel, AIN, we don't want him there. Delete. Oh, sorry, that's Kieran. Is that? Yep, that's Kieran. Put him back. Sorry, the early shift. So I'll take my early off there and simply press it and then press delete. And then everyone else is available for an early. Who hasn't worked for an early or doesn't have a shift for a while? So Jonathan hasn't had a shift the longest. So we'll say he can have that early shift. That way I've satisfied that one. I only work once per weekend, and see how quickly we're able to see who's available, who's not, and who hasn't worked in a while. And we can also just tally up the hours, have a quick preview. You can see here the person with the least hours would be Trident. So we can accommodate, or not Trident, sorry, Alex. So we can try to accommodate for Alex to have more shifts there. And that's how easy it all is. It really saves time, makes it quicker, makes it easier. And everyone does their availability from home, from their phone, from their iPad, computer, whatever. You just set a date for it to be done. So let's say you like your availability to be done by a certain date. everyone puts in their availability by that date, and that's just a requirement. If it hasn't been done by that date, then I don't know if they get a slap on the wrist or something. So just to wrap up, I'll show you a quick example of how quick and easy it is. So we'll complete this top roster here. So we will need an early. Gordy's now available for an early, so we chuck him in there. Let's say we know Alex is available for an early and a late down there, so we can put him for a late. Look at our AINs. Only Todd's available as an AIN that day. It looks like he's the only AIN that we have there for a while. So we'll just go ahead and fill in that AIN there, and you'll see these colors are getting better and better progressively. Next we know Trident is available for a late. And then this one we also need a late. So who else is available for a late? To Jackie, Alex, or to Mesh, any of those people. Jeremiah hasn't had, Mesh hasn't had a shift yet. So we'll give him a late. And just like that, we've filled that in. Hours have been updated. Yeah, that's how easy it is. Great.